Hello, everyone. Now we're going to be looking at the new technologies and weapons of World War One. So, the Great War. Reminder, it's from 1914 to 1918. It's the first man-made catastrophe of the 20th century, and 17 million people were killed, more than any other war in history. Why was World War One so devastating? Well, new technologies and weapons the world had never seen. Also, scientists and inventors worked tirelessly to improve current technologies and weapons and to invent more powerful ones. We saw tanks improved over time, and we had the no man's land, the Western Front. So, trench warfare. Most of the battles were located on the Western Front. That bordered France, Belgium, and Germany. The landscape here is very flat. It's the European plain. And this red line represents the battle zones of World War One. So they dug trenches. There's no natural protection from enemy fire, so they dug trenches to protect themselves from enemy gunfire and artillery. We had dugouts, protective holes dug into the ground. We had no man's land, the area between trenches, no protection from enemy fire. It was full of barbed wires and huge craters. Sometimes you'd find bombs. If you tried to cross no man's land, you were almost certain to die. So here's some pictures of no man's land, and here's a picture of them setting up some barbed wire. As you can see, it's a wholly different place that we've never really seen before. The land was reduced to a barren field. So, trench warfare lasted for years. Neither side could advance. It was a stalemate. Millions of soldiers were killed. So here we have some pictures from World War One. So for 4 years, people were stuck in these trenches. So, tanks. They debut in September 1916. They're used by the Allies. They're very hard to steer, and they're unreliable. They broke down on the battlefield. This is what some of the first tanks looked like. However, over time, they became very effective, used regularly in battle, and helped break through German front lines. So here you could see what the tank became. So you start here. Let me grab the pen. So we start here, go here, and then we go down here. And this tank actually looks very similar to the tanks we still have today. So, airplanes. We have spy planes used to collect intelligence about the enemy. We have bombings. We dropped bombs in cities and troops. Machine guns were mounted on planes. Enemies would fight each other in the air in what we call dogfights. Allied and Central Powers wanted airplanes that were fast and easier to maneuver, and stronger. Better airplanes equal more success. Okay, then we have machine guns. We start with Vickers gun, invented by the British. 500 bullets per minute. It took 6 men to operate it. It was very effective and placed along the Western Front to defend against the enemy. So here you could see you have 6 men using this gun. Next, we have chemical weapons. First, we have chlorine gas, first used by Germans in 1915. Then we have mustard gas, used by Allied and Central Powers. It could take 12 hours to take effect, and death could take 5 weeks. It affected eyesight, which caused blindness. It affected lungs, which caused suffocation. Affected skin, which caused rashes and burning. And affected the nose, which caused burning. Gases were largely ineffective, though. Why? Because of weather conditions and how it was delivered. The wind can change and you can kill your own people. But the psychological effects were soldiers spent most of their days worrying about and guarding against this terrifying death. All right, then we have gas masks. We have gas weapons, now we have gas masks to protect yourself. So say goodbye to the threat of gas. This made chemical weapons almost useless. Here's a picture of those first gas masks. And here's some more. But it wasn't just for people. Horses, mules, dogs, and others wore gas masks to stay protected. So here's some horses with gas masks and a dog with a gas mask. We have battleships for fighting at sea. They had long-range guns and would attack other ships and land targets from safe distances. Here are battleships from World War I. And then we also had blockades. So Allies prevented supplies and food from reaching Germany by having a blockade, which was basically, if this is England, this is very simple, by the way, and this is Germany, England would put their boats like this so that no boats can get by them. Then we have U-boats. U-boats were used by Germans as retaliation. They're submarines, basically. They would sneak up on allies and attack with torpedoes. So here you could see the U-boats, which look pretty much like a submarine. No ship was safe. Germans also attacked Allied passenger, non-military ships. The sinking of the Lusitania, a British passenger ship, there were about 1,200 people on board and killed, and including 128 Americans. This ends up becoming a major reason why the United States enters World War I. So that is all for this lesson. See you next time.